Let's talk about the Vatican, the collective voice of billions of Catholics around the world. It has existed as an independent city-state for decades. It mints its own euros, prints its own stamps, issues its own passports, has its own flag, and is run by its own laws. Laws that seem to have done very little to protect innocent children from predatory priests. The Vatican has a long history of child sexual abuse and cover-ups by its own bishops. The first of its kind trial of two priests within the Vatican's walls has come as yet another reminder of why the Roman Catholic Church is in urgent need of reform. Here's a report.
The Wuhan virus has long breached the walls of the Vatican. Sanitation drives like these have become a frequent sight inside St. Peter's Basilica. But a systemic sanitization still awaits the Catholic Church. The scourge of sexual abuse continues to soil the Holy See. In the latest instance, the Vatican has put two priests on trial over alleged sexual abuse: Reverend Gabriele Martinelli and Enrico Radis. One has been accused of sexually abusing an altar boy in a prominent Vatican City seminary. The other of covering up the entire case. This is the first such trial within the Vatican's walls. The case dates back to 2007. According to the charges read in a courtroom, the priests forced a 16-year-old boy to submit to cardinal relations, acts of sodomy, and forced masturbation.
I saw violence made through blackmail and abuse of power by Martinelli. It was terrifying seeing these things because at the time I was only 15. I'd never seen two people have sex, and yet I was forced to watch these things inside the Vatican. Psychologically, it was very tough to take because I came to the Vatican to serve the church. I was a strong believer.
This was the key whistleblower in the case, Kamil Jarzembowski, the roommate of the victim. He claims to have written several letters about the matter to Pope Francis and church authorities, but not once did he receive a reply. Instead, he was kicked out of the church.
I wanted to serve in St. Peter's Basilica, the biggest in the world, the symbol for all Catholics. And yet at night, I was forced to look at these scenes with the blackmail that if I opened my mouth, I would suffer grave consequences instead of the real perpetrators of the abuse. And so it happened in phases. I'm not a Catholic, not anymore. I'm currently an atheist. I lost my faith in God shortly after I was kicked out of the Vatican.
The sex abuse crisis has dogged the church for decades. In 2019, a record 1,000 cases of sexual abuse were reported to the Vatican. 2020 is no different. Multiple cases of clergy abuse and cover-ups have sprung across the world in the last 10 months. In Minnesota, a bishop-elect had to resign following sexual abuse allegations. In France, a priest was convicted for abusing dozens of scouts. In Argentina, two priests were convicted for sexually abusing young children. These were just a few cases. Thousands of more such crimes are getting shrouded in the church's culture of secrecy. Thousands of young lives are being destroyed by predatory priests. The Vatican urgently needs to reform its internal policies. It needs to open itself to human rights scrutiny and allow victims to access justice. It must do so for the sake of its followers and its own diminishing credibility. Bureau Report, WION World is One.
Thank you for watching Gravitas on WION's YouTube channel. If you want to stay up to date with what's happening around the world, then subscribe to our channel and don't forget to like and share. Thank you very much for watching WION World is One.